Welcome to Mrs. Moskowitz's Art Room. Today I'm channeling a very, very famous female artist whose name is Frida Kahlo. And Frida Kahlo is from Mexico. And on May 5th, we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, which is the revolution in Mexico to get their freedom. So Frida Kahlo, as I said, is a female artist, and she was born on July 6th, 1907. She died at a very, very young age of 47. When she was 6 years old, she developed polio, which is a disease that caused her to have one leg a little bit more crippled looking than the other. So she took to wearing long skirts and traditional Mexican garb because of that. And then she was going to be a medical student. She wanted to be a doctor. And one day when she was going to school, she was on a trolley, and the trolley was in a very, very bad car accident. She was hospitalized for a month, and after that she was detained in her own bed at home for almost a year. She suffered a lot of injuries, many, many fractures. One of the poles from the trolley went right through her abdomen into her spine. And they told her she would never walk again. Fortunately, she did, but her father was very, very sensitive to the fact that she was stuck in bed in a full body cast and not being able to move. So he built for her a mirror above her bed, and I have a picture of it because I thought this was fascinating. She had a canopy type of bed, and he built on top of the canopy a mirror so that she could see herself, and he gave her a paint set. It was never her intention to become an artist, never. But because she was given this paint set, she started painting herself because that was the only thing that she could see from the mirror was herself. She was very isolated from everybody else. And she was just in her room. So she painted her cast, and she painted 45 self-portraits out of the 144 paintings that she did. This is a picture of Frida Kahlo. And I'm going to show you some of her self-portraits that she made. You can see she was considered a beautiful woman. This is a picture of her painting her painting. This is her. She has a very, very distinct eyebrows that in this day and age we call it a unibrow. And she always painted that fully in her paintings. She also had a mustache. This painting is Frida Kahlo, and how her whole heart was just bleeding out. And she felt very, very alone. So she was feeling very, very, very alone all the time. So that's why she painted these self-portraits. And she always had her hair done elaborately. You can see her unibrow and her mustache. Her heart is bleeding out, and she's feeling very alone, like a lot of people are nowadays. So that's why I thought she would be very relevant to learn about. This is another one of her self-portraits. And what she would also do is she would paint animals, her pets, in her portraits. And you can see here, she actually did have a pet monkey. And she does have a black cat. And she felt it was very important to show the type of person that she was by showing the things that were important to her. She didn't have very many friends, and she wasn't able to go out and be with other people because she was in a lot of pain all the time. So when Frida did paint, as I said, she wore the Mexican garb all the time, and she used lots and lots of very, very bright colors. This is another one of her self-portraits over here. And you can see this is called framed because she painted a frame around her self-portrait. You can see her unibrow. You can see her mustache. You can see her elaborate design in her hair. This is a portrait of Diego Rivera, and Diego Rivera is her husband. He was a huge guy, very, very, very big, and he was also an artist. He did murals. And the one thing they had in common, well, besides being both painters, they were also both communists, which caused a little bit of friction when they would go to different countries to show their artwork. These are two more of Frida's self-portraits. You can see here, traditional Mexican garb, and down here, her pet dog. Over here, you see, look at her hair and her unibrow. And right there's her monkey again. Some more of her self-portraits. Here she has her parrot and her monkey. And over here, it's like you can see inside her head. So Frida had a lot of challenges because from the polio, she was always very uncomfortable. And then also from the accident, she was always in pain. And she was a teeny tiny person, whereas her husband, Diego, was huge. So when you see the portraits of them, you see she is portrayed very tiny in traditional garb. And here he is. You can see the difference in their sizes. Okay. So a quote that Frida said was, "I paint myself because I am so often alone and because I am the subject I know best." This is another one of Frida's portraits. And it's showing how the metal was forged through her body and that she's only holding on to things through a thin... These are the last two pictures of Frida that I would like to show you. This one is a painting of her floating in her bed. And on top of her bed, she did have a skeleton. And you can see, and he's made to look very hokey. And look how he's connected. And with the flowers and the vines, trying to hold everything together. And this one too, you see Frida with her hair down, which is not typical of her paintings. And then how the nature is just coming right on through her. So Frida Kahlo was an amazing woman, an amazing artist, and a big loss that she died at such a young age. You can tour her home in Kayasan. It's called the Casa Azul, or the Blue Castle, Blue House. And it just it's just vibrant with color and with life the way that she was. I will be sharing with you a book called Frida Kahlo and the Bravest Girl in the World. A true story about a young girl that she befriended and did a portrait of. So thank you for joining me. I hope to see you for the rest of the series on Frida Kahlo. Thank you from Mrs. Moskowitz's Art Room.